Hello. In this video, we're going to be talking about time value of money, and specifically present value and future value. And we're going to work through two problems to do that. The first problem is a future value problem. And future value questions, we are asking, if I set aside this amount now, will it be enough in the future? And the formula we use for future value problems is future value equals present value times 1 plus, 1 plus our interest rate, and then raised to the power of how many years that's going to be in the bank, how many years that's going to be compounded. Okay? So here's our scenario. You're the manager of a zoo and want to improve the habitat for your elephants. You need to do the project in 3 years and need to raise $900,000 to complete the project. You've been doing well in terms of visitors and are making $250,000 a year in gate receipts. If you set that money aside each year for the next 3 years and find a bank that will pay 4.5% interest rate that's compounded annually, will you have enough money to improve the elephant habitat? Okay, so I'm going to create this little table, number of years, which is going to be the number of years that money is in the bank, amount, interest rate. Okay, that's all the information we have and need. And then I'm going to call this subtotal because it's going to be for 1 year. Okay. So, and I'm going to flip these around. Let's start with amount and then number of years. Okay. So year 1 we put in $250,000. Format that so we can tell it's money, and so I make sure I don't screw up my number of zeros, which I did. That's $250,000. Okay. Number of years. If we're putting the C in year 1, we know it's going to be in the bank for 3 years. Our interest rate of 4.5%, so we write that as decimals, 0.045. Okay. Then we just type in our formula. Keep in mind here, to make your life easier, you want to reference cells, not typing in numbers. So we always start with an equals our present value, 250 times 1 plus our interest rate. And see, I'm going to highlight the cell. That way I can change the interest rate and see what happens in parentheses to the power of, and here I can do the number of years, which is 3, and voila. Okay. Now in year 2, we're going to put in another $250,000. Let's format all these the same. In year 3, we're going to put in another $250,000. So that's going to be in for 2 years and for 1 year. Okay. Now, one of the beauties of doing these formulas by referencing cells instead of typing numbers is this is the same formula I'm going to use on each line, so I can just copy paste it or drag it down. However, you're going to see I see $250,000. That doesn't really make sense, right? We know it should be more than that. The thing is, Excel is smart. When you copy down, it brings the reference down with you. So in this formula, if we see up here, you have B20, which is what we want, times 1 plus D20, okay, times C20, which is right. When we bring it down, all those 20s are going to change to 21, which is fine for this cell. But I mean, we could just copy this interest rate down, but I just want to teach you how to use anchors. So if we want that 21 to stay the same, we're going to put a $sign by that. Okay, and that means, oops, and I put it in the wrong cell. Okay, so we want the 20 to stay the same. We want it to be on the interest rate, so that's a D. Okay. Well, and now we can paste that down. And now you see everything flows nicely. Now, in reality, because you're putting this money in the bank in 3 separate years, you may not get the same interest rate. So it may actually be good practice to leave that anchor out and then update the interest rate here every time. In this case, it's the same, but this will give us the ability to change the interest rate in each year. Okay. Let's format these. Okay, so the $250,000 we put in the first year, that compounded for 3 years, ends up as 285. The second year is 273, and then the third year is 261. So we total all of those up, equals sum. Just highlight my range. So it comes to $819,000. So we can see here we're going to be short. Okay. So what can we do? We could find a grant to supplement. We could perhaps postpone the restoration for a fourth year, keeping in mind that our $900,000 price may go up if we add another fourth year. We could perhaps not make it quite as nice as we intended. So lots of different options. So that is a future value question. I think we're going to do a separate video with a present value. So hang tight, and that is future value. We'll come back to present.